What's
Ah! What's up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist here with Gershwin, and we're back at it answering your questions in another episode of For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, simply comment down below a question in front of your question, because we get to those questions first.
What is going on here, guys?
What question did you bring?
Oh, geez, where did it go? Shishi Bizzle asks, this is the 8th try. I doubt it.
Is that a thing you guys are doing now, telling us how many times you tried?
Yeah. How physically powerful are the Eldar? The fluff makes the Eldar seem like they're untouchable demigods with centuries of battle experience. Yet, we've seen countless examples of orcs, and yes, even humans, winning in single combat with the Eldar. In terms of physical strength, how would you rank these races?
Yeah, I get you 100%. So I think the big thing to remember is like the Eldar are kind of like the elves from Lord of the Rings. Yes, they do seem to be super powerful, super amazing, but that's because the story focuses on those individuals. Like when you hear or where you read the Lord of the Rings, you hear about like who's that one guy with the blonde hair?
Legolas?
You hear about Legolas. He's a G. Of course, they're going to focus all attention on that special character. Same thing in 40K. They're going to focus all the attention on, what's the one main Farseer? Eldrad. And they're going to talk about him and all his powers. They're not going to talk about the lowly warrior, who is also an elf and might have like good psychic powers, better than the humans. But at the end of the day, like if he went toe to toe with an orc, the orc would win.
Right, that's like saying, oh, I was the smartest in high school, and then once you go to college, it's like, oh, I'm just regular.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, in your own rank, you might be the best of the best, but once you start introducing orcs, which are
which are like just savages.
Right, they were made for war. Like, yeah, you can see how it doesn't compare.
Yeah. And then this is the same with everything, though. Even like you could say with humans, like you focus when you talk about humanity's past, you think of like Napoleon, you think of Alexander the Great, Genghis Khan. You don't think about like the leader that came before Alexander the Great. Was his dad? We do talk about his dad, but like before his dad, like we don't talk about the generals that came from all those little city-states, because like they were just regular guys. Yeah, they might have been powerful, but like they were nothing compared to the great special characters that have been created for us.
And I think nobody likes to read just like a generic, like, oh, let's talk about guardsman number 123. He killed one orc and then he died a second after that. So it's like, yeah, you need to focus on it.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, how would you rate these guys in terms of physical strength? So the Eldar are not strong. They're all about speed, trickery, and psychic powers. Obviously, when you pit them right in front of an orc, like, you know, if they're arm wrestling, the orc's going to get the better of them. Obviously, if you're one Eldar and you're going up against a squad of orcs, yeah, your speed might help you kill 2 or 3 of them, but orcs are tough. Most likely your dagger swipe won't be a killing blow, so that'll give the other orcs more time to come in. So in terms of strengths, obviously the orcs are up there above Eldar.
Let's put it into like an arena setting. So we're going to throw in each race. My ranking, I think, is going to be orcs, followed by Tyranids, and these are just like your regular gods and whatever. And then you're going to have, or no, I think on the top would be Necrons, orcs, Tyranids, Eldar, and then human. That's what my ranking would be. And I think the reason that I'm saying Necrons is because, like,
they're freaking metal.
Yeah, you could punch a Necron and you could like break its neck, but he'll just grab it, necrodermis, put it back together. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. So I guess going from the bottom, I'd say Tau.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Humans. Eldar. Space Marine? No, Orcs, Space Marine, Necrons.
I forgot about Space Marines too.
Let us
No,
know.
but I think a Space Marine can beat a Necron.
Well,
like a Necron
because
warrior.
durability wise, right?
Yeah, well, because like you could chop a Space Marine's hand off and he can still keep fighting.
Right, but he can't regrow or reattach that arm.
No, not in that same fight, but I think. Well, yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah, it's wishy washy. That was a good question though.
Who do you think is stronger, a warrior or a Space Marine? Comment down below. Next question comes from ya boys. We already answered that. Next question comes from Black Twitch. Who would win in a fight, Goku versus all the Chaos Primarchs?
Well, Goku is one strong mofo. And the way they've been writing him, he practically can't lose. Like, he'll just come with a new form and he'll take them all out.
Or he'll lose and then come back. So.
Or he'll die, train, and then come back.
Yeah.
So there's no beating Goku here, guys.
Yeah. Next one.
This one is by Genio Matherly. So if all the Primarchs are aspects of the Emperor, then why is Lorgar a religious zealot? Yeah, because the Emperor was all about like science and whatnot. But when you look at Lorgar, he was kind of, I guess you could say he was he was devoted. He was just happened to be devoted to, like thinking the Emperor as a demigod or whatever. And you could say the Emperor was devoted to science. So I guess kind of.
Yeah, and also I think there were aspects of war that the Emperor like showed, and I think hope and perseverance are a big part of war, and they are very they're required. That's why you see a lot of military men who like also believe in God. Because when you're going to war and like death is right there, like there has to be a part of you that says like there's something after all of this. I'm not doing this just to do it. And I think that's what it represents. Yeah. Next question comes from Super Mofogravine. I read that wrong. What would happen if an orc painted the orc green? What would happen if the orc painted the Emperor green? Nothing.
Nothing. Yeah, I think if the Emperor got that close to an orc, the Imperium would already be in ashes.
Yeah. Next one.
Mr. Mars Jano. How strong is an avatar of Cain? So I started thinking about this spoiler after the fight between the avatar of Cain and Fulgrim. Was Fulgrim that strong, or is the avatar that weak?
I think the avatar was that weak.
Yeah, so basically, because you said you read it, so when Fulgrim was in that place, the avatar was like almost dead. He was like basically on the cusp of dying. The cusp of dying. And yeah, that's how he managed to beat him so easily. But at the same time, Lorgar is a freaking Primarch. Primarchs are really, really, really powerful, even though Lorgar was kind of one of the weaker ones.
The weakest one.
Yeah, it was he?
He got his ass beat by everybody.
But, well, I mean, in the Horus Heresy, he kind of started like...
He was smart, so that's the thing though, like physically he was weak.
Mm-hmm. But when you think of the avatar of Cain, these are like embodiments of the god of war. So yeah, they're strong, they're brutal, and depending on... Because there's two ways of summoning. Depending on which way you summon them, one is stronger than the other. I'd recommend you guys watch our Grimdark battle where the avatar of Cain fights Saint Celestine. There I talk about, basically what the avatar of Cain is and how strong he is. So you can kind of compare it like that. But yeah, he was dying, which is why he was weaker and why Lorgar was able to beat him so easily.
Yes. Next question comes from the Vinlantus. How much of the fluff have you both read? A lot. So much so that we've forgotten half of it.
And a lot of it gets changed up,
like the Necrons?
Mm-hmm. They used to be mindless automatrons, just trying to destroy all life in the galaxy.
Not no more.
They got personality, which I guess that makes more sense when you're trying to write, the lore.
Yeah.
But things change, things adapt. Gilliman's back. Yeah, so this is an interesting one by Alucard Tepes. Which characters or entities from 40K could defeat Thanos? And that's with all Infinity Stones.
Well, Thor almost. Whoa, shit. Spoiler alert. Thor almost defeated him. Like, if he would have aimed a little higher and, like, crushed the dude's skull, like, Thanos would have been done with. So, I don't think Thanos is as strong as, like...
But, I mean, when you put it that way, technically anybody can kill Thanos if they chop his head off. Like,
no, the weapon that Thor was using.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
And also, like, Mantis. Mantis jumped up and, like, mind controlled him. Have an Eldar mind control,
Right, that's what I'm
Thanos.
saying. Like, he's not as overpowered as everybody, like, thinks he is. Like, yeah, he's a really powerful dude, but, like, there's ways around that. You can take him by surprise, you can use psychic powers, you can use magic. The thing that really, like, didn't make sense to me was they could literally just use the time gem when Doctor Strange had it and just turn back time, like...
Yeah, and also, because they did this in the beginning of the movie, when Doctor Strange and his, like, sidekick, what's his name?
Wong?
Yeah, Wong. I think Wong teleports Black Dwarf to, like, some ice-covered place. And they
throw him in a freaking volcano, dude.
Well, that, and then you know how he, like, reaches out and then the portal closes and it chops his hand off?
Right.
Why don't you do that to Thanos? Like, why doesn't Doctor Strange create a portal around his arm and then close it and chop off the gauntlet? And the gauntlet is, like, across the universe now. What's Thanos gonna do? Nothing. And when Tony and Spider-Man couldn't get the gauntlet out, why didn't Doctor Strange, or why didn't he, like, turn into his astral form and, like, help them? Because, like, that's what he did, like, right afterwards. Remember when he did the whole thing with the arms?
Yeah.
And, like, a bunch of them showed up? Why didn't he do that from the beginning? And now you have, like, 1,000 of him that he can just, like, help to
like,
pull.
obviously that's the way it was written and whatnot.
Right.
Yeah, but, like, there's ways around it. So, like, thinking about it in 40K terms, a Cain can probably do it. Regular Space Marine can do it. Because all it is plot armor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so...
Yeah. And then last question. I have this one from I Am So Bored. Is there any possible ways for the Eldar to rescue Isha, and would the Imperium be willing to help if she could revive the Emperor? No, because if you check out our 40 facts on what was that one? It's like an Inquisitor thing that I did. Well, basically, there's two trains of thought in the Inquisition. One of them is that they want to resurrect the Emperor, and the other one is that the Emperor is the way that he is because he meant it to be that way. And the majority of the Inquisition follows the second. So the first, resurrecting the Emperor, is something seen in some circles as like heresy and shouldn't even be followed. So much so that there's a huge split. Resurrecting the Emperor with Isha would be something bad for most of the Inquisition and the Ecclesiarchy.
Right, because not only are you allying with Xenos, now you're like...
a resurrectionist.
Right.
And that's bad.
But, I mean, I could see why you'd want to resurrect a god or a goddess of, like, fertility and all that stuff, because at the same time, you're helping the Eldar, but then you're also helping yourself, because now you can cure more of Nurgle's diseases and whatnot, resurrect the Emperor, and... yeah, it's...
And then the other thing, though, is, like, with Iniad could do that, I feel. Like, because if he helped Gilliman, why can't he help the Emperor? But the big problem is, like, why would anybody in the Imperium trust the Eldar to come
close?
Yeah, to come that close. So.
I mean, there were already tons of backlash of having the Eldar that close to a Primarch. Mm-hmm. Like, Mornius Calgar, he was against it completely. Mm-hmm. So...
whatever happened to Calgar?
Gilliman basically just ordered him to defend Ultramar.
Oh.
Yeah. But he's like, oh, you, Sicarius, come join me. You're cool. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Those are the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, comment down below.
Yeah, don't forget to keep on asking your questions with question before the question, because we get to those questions first. And that's all I got. Sound Alchemist?
Gersh one.
We are out of here.